This time, 10 years ago, I was writing a story that would change my life. Hello, my name is Karen McDermott, and I am an author and publisher. And one of the things that I have come to appreciate is that when the call to write your story comes, you can't ignore it. It's like an epiphany moment, and for me, it was exactly that. Let me set the scene and share my story with you. In 2010, I was a proud mum of 4 children. I was sitting in my living room in my Waikiki, Western Australia home, and we were just sitting there, and daytime TV was on. Never on in our home. But this day, it needed to be there. I needed to hear the message that was going to come through that. Actress Whoopi Goldberg was there presenting The View, and she had a celebrity TV couple who were visitors on the show. And she was asking them some questions, and it came up around how they had endured a miscarriage. And the woman was so evidently emotional, and I really connected because a few years previous, I had endured a miscarriage, a double miscarriage, and the grief was still inside me. I still felt it deeply, but I never understood why. I never understood why this would happen to me because I already had 2 healthy boys. Why would I endure a double miscarriage? Well, I was about to find out why. Whoopi Goldberg turned her back to the camera and she spoke to this woman and she said, "I am going to tell you something that I tell all of my friends that endure this. This was a visitor that came to tell you to get back onto the right track in life, because when you do, your gift will come." Well, it was like a lightning bolt shot through my body, and I felt goosebumps from my head to my toes. That was the answer right there. That was the answer my heart needed. No medical person could give me that answer. Only in this moment, I was ready to hear it. I was writing for a website at the time called Building Beautiful Bonds, and I felt compelled to share this message with the world, so I wrote a blog. But that was not enough. I had to then, so how am I going to share this message with the world? I was a mum at home with 4 kids. You know, my world was small. Until it came to realizing that National Novel Writing Month was starting in 2 days' time. And I was just drawn to it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I said to my husband, I have to write this novel. I have to get this message out through a book. So I may be distracted for the next 30 days. And I did. For 30 days, I wrote 1,667 words a day. And at the end, I had the message out in a book. I felt as if I had shared. Yes, it was a bit exposing. Yes, I was a bit vulnerable in sharing the message. But when that message started to reach the people who needed to hear it, and when that message reached their hearts and gave them the answers that their hearts needed, it changed them. But not only did writing my book and sharing it with the world change them, it changed me, because I was able to heal. I was able to move through the pain that had been stuck within me. I was able to release that, move on, and have my answer that I understood why it was me. So I obviously fell in love with story then, because I seen the power in it. The power of story is almighty. Whenever a story connects with readers, whenever a story connects with the person who's sharing it, whether it be through a book, whether it be on a stage, whether it be just in a conversation, something magical happens. It's an opportunity to heal, to connect, to inspire, to grow. One of the things that I really realized was the narrative of which I was sharing my stories with the world. I was showing up and sharing some of my most intimate stories in a positive light, filled with hope and inspiration, and creating the conversations that needed to happen through story. And it was amazing, the results that I was getting. So I continued to show up. And through that narrative of the stories I was sharing with other people, I also identified the narrative of which I was telling myself my own stories. And so I started to have more positive conversations with myself and with others, and my life changed. And I wanted everyone to know this message as well, that if you just change the dialogue of the conversations you're having with people and just be more mindful about what that can be and how that can change, it will change your life. A few months after my mother visited, after I wrote the book, my mother visited from Ireland, which was wonderful. But she never really understood why I left Ireland and moved to the other side of the world. Like, I didn't move down the road. I moved to the other side of the world. But I had a story I wrote down that I shared with her, and that gifted her the understanding of why I did leave, why I pursued going to the other side of the world. And it helped us to rebuild our relationship. So in sharing that knowledge with her and sharing that story that I might have just not even thought about sharing at any other point, I actually rebuilt and reconnected with my mother. Now, what is more important than that? So connection comes through sharing your story. It truly does. So I want you to think about, is there a time in your life where you, or even right now, can you share something that's within you, that's stuck within you? Can you rebuild a connection with someone? Can you share a story that might inspire somebody else? Can you? What is that for you? Now, I'm very blessed that I am able to live my perfect life, and through my calling to write, I fell into publishing, and now I have stories be told all over the world. It's my calling. It's what wakes me up in the morning. It's what gives me fire in my belly, because I see the power of sharing stories has on the world. Some people say that money makes the world go round. I think that stories make the world go round. So I always say, when you achieve something, share it with people. So many stories go untold. So many stories have to wait till they're written in history books. But I say share them with the world now, because the world needs your stories now. We need to be having conversations now. We need to be connecting now. So I share my stories all the time. I inspire people through my entrepreneurial journey. I talk about how I started out by just $50 a week is what I could afford. It was just a little bit outside of my comfort zone. I set that intention, and I said, I'm going to work hard to see where this goes. And I have grown a publishing empire. I hire castles in Ireland and bring writers to it from all over the world. I have signed the Duchess of York, the Kate Forsyth, founded beautiful illustrators, and I have beautiful books get out into the world. That's my calling. I'm also blessed to be able to not have to compromise any of my values, because I'm very much an at-home present mum as well. So my story has led me to where I am today, and I own it with every inch of my being, because my story does not fit somebody else. It only fits me. Just like your story can only fit you. So I ask you to think about, do you feel that you belong in your story? Is your story fitting you right now? And if not, what can you do to help that along? Because warts and all, they are all part of us. They help us become who we are right now. And when we embrace it, we have this inner sense of belonging, a beautiful confidence that radiates out into the world, and we help people see the good in themselves. So let's show up. Let's share the best of ourselves with the world, and let's own our story, because it will change your life and the life of other people. Thank you so much.